Gotta be ready. You never know. These things could last 10 hours.
That's true. Oh my gosh. Let's hope that does not.
No, I have Star Wars to see today. It's Rise of the Skywalker.
You don't even know that title.
I know, I'm tired.
Go.
I'm tired. I've been writing, okay?
Oh.
There's nothing else left in my brain for any other information like movie titles.
Oh.
But I do have tickets to go see it, so I'm going to go see it. I'm excited.
Heck yeah, very good. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So, tell me about these books. What is going on here? When did you start writing these things?
So it's a trilogy. It's a young adult trilogy. It's basically vampire, paranormal, and it's about a young girl. She's 18, and she goes in search for her father, and she runs into a lot of trouble trying to find him. Basically, he leaves when she's 12 years old, and there's no goodbye, there's nothing. He just disappears out of the blue, and so, for 6 years, she doesn't know what happened to him until she finds his journal hidden under some floorboards in her house during a renovation, and then she takes that journal and goes to the last place that he wrote about, basically to try to find him.
I see.
And then she gets into a lot of trouble. Wow. But I can't tell you what the rest is. You have to buy the book.
And that's just the one book?
That's just The Outcasts.
That's the first one.
So,
but the trouble will last 2 more months.
Right, and there's a lot of it. There is a lot of trouble, a lot of plot twists. It's pretty much plot-driven, character-driven.
Is there cue cards or something, or post-it notes in your room that where's the storyboard? How did you do it?
It's in my head.
No way, you did it in your head?
Yeah, pretty much all of it. All you could see. Let me just show you. Like this, I can't believe this is in my head, but yeah, this is the second one, The Watchers. Third one that just came out this December, and then The Outcasts, which is the first one.
Wow.
So yes, they've steadily gotten bigger, but for the most part, they were just in my head. It existed in my head. I do have little bits of notes online on the computer, just so I could go back and reference I color and age and that thing. But otherwise, it's all in my head. Yeah.
Now, you were doing a lot of. I'm sure you did a lot of research as far as how books are digested, when to release the next one, things like that.
I did. I don't know if any of it stuck in my head. You just
started rolling and going.
That's exactly what I did.
Wow. And have you had, what's the feedback from the readers that have gone all the way through?
The feedback is that they love it, and they want to see it turn into a movie, so we should talk.
Okay.
Movies.
Yes. And what time period is it?
It's present day.
It's present day.
But
there's also there's a VR component you were thinking about?
That's actually in the next book series that I'm going to be working on. Yes, so I'm really excited about that. I started already plotting, developing, and in this book series, it'll be about a 7-book series. I'm still working on the title, but it is going to be like Ready Player One meets Warcross.
I see.
I don't know if you've heard of Warcross.
No. What's Warcross?
It's by Marie Lu, and it's basically one of the ones. It's action-packed. It's very techie involved, kind of like Ready Player One.
Okay.
It's young adult. Oh. So I kind of want it to be a little cross between those 2 books. That's the only thing I can compare it to right now.
Wow. And that's interesting. So it ventures off into in that realm. I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was like, yeah, we've got a fascination with zombies and vampires, and you're like, yeah, well, that's kind of the way of the beast, because we don't really focus on that we're eating animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you mean as far as the zombies or
just our human nature? We are fearful of this zombie coming to get us.
That's true.
And
the apocalypse happening.
Yeah, fear of death.
That's why you have the preppers and the. Out there, yeah.
Fear of death, and then our society loves to watch the zombies. They love to watch. What was the other thing? Werewolves,
vampires, fairies, fae.
And we want to be like, some people want to be the animal thing. There's a fluffy movement. The ponies, the
okay.
bronies.
Now you're getting way out there.
Sorry. Okay. I was just looking at the context of human nature in general, and people that are doing this. Very interesting, because when it comes to these books, you're going outside the realm of reality, in the sense that going into VR in this digital realm where it's kind of like Matrix style, I guess. And I don't know exactly how it plays out in yours, But Ready Player One, it was like, get rid of your body, come back in here, be whoever you want to be, right?
Yeah, so they did a lot with haptics, which is like virtual reality and haptics, which haptics is when you put on the suit and you can feel other things in that environment that you're in. So virtual reality, but they're still working on that. Scientists. Yeah, I heard the way of the world is that they're not able to do that because it's almost impossible to get pressure on a suit into virtual reality.
They're just gonna have to plug in because you just can't get that sense. What was it? I helped some kids out with smell-o-vision, but they had this computer box, and they were called haptics. Their company,
right?
And that's when I learned about that word. And it was like you could play the game. They had a Minecraft game where you would walk in a field of oranges and you'd smell oranges.
Wow.
Or a field of pine.
That could get dangerous.
It can, because there's a lot of scenes in movies I don't want to smell.
Right, you don't. But also there's the other side where it's like, Krispy Kreme donuts or something that where you're like just really, really hungry and that's all you smell. It's just food.
And it's very hard to get those natural smells, which go into a whole nother realm. But smell-o-vision's been around forever. But the haptics thing of touching, like I remember the guys had the gloves, and right now they're really trying to get the fingers working so the things see your fingers and they can touch things. But as far as feeling it, I think they're gonna have to plug in. Now is that something that's going on?
No, so it won't be like haptics or anything. It'll be more like from the not too distant future, so it won't be way in the future. So basically, I'm still putting it all together and plotting, but what I want to focus on is more of like the VR, augmented reality, mixed reality, that kind of thing.
Very cool.
So we're talking like, in a way for people to understand it would be like Pokemon now, which is augmented reality, mixed reality, where you pick up your phone and you can play and see things and take pictures of the Pokemon in your reality. Yeah. So it's mixed in, which is like where they come up with mixed reality.
Yeah, and what was it? Soden showed me. It was total VR. It wasn't AR. I think there's AR, VR, and there's another one.
Yeah, AR, VR, MR.
MR, mixed.
Yeah.
They're gonna come.
But okay, so I've talked to the lead scientist in Cambridge for Microsoft. The way he put it was that augmented reality and mixed reality were almost like all encompassing. They're the same basically. They just use the words, their terminology, augmented reality. But that's what the HoloLens 2 is, and that's what they work on there.
Have you ever tried that thing out?
I haven't. I actually have not tried virtual reality out. So
what?
I know I want to.
Oh, we gotta try it.
I need to, just so I can experience it. I'll call it research for my books. These next series. And
North Park Mall has the HoloLens because unfortunately,
really?
I just don't want to drop the 4K to get it.
It's pricey. It's up there.
The thing that disturbed me the most when I took the demo was it was basically only in front of you in the square area. I was like, no, I want it.
Right. Which you want it.
Because if you saw, that's what's so great about it. I played a couple video games where all of a sudden it knows where the floor is, and it made a hole in the floor where these monsters are coming out. But as soon as you look too far over to the left,
right. So it's your field of vision, and it's only. I think that's what he said they're working on. They want to make it even better.
And if I tell people that if I was to describe to you how impactful the BlackBerry, the iPhone was, that it had apps on it, and trying to describe to a person what an app is on a phone, that is the best way to describe it. It is this HoloLens. I think that's where sunglasses are going to go and everything like that.
Oh, most definitely. That's what he's already talking about. Yeah.
There's a cool short film a French person did where you could tell you're seeing it from first person view, and it's a woman that's on the bus, and she's programmed her vision to make all cement grass. So you see it twitches every once in a while. You're like, well, that's weird. Oh, it's her augmented reality of the grass. This is grass. But as she's in the shopping mall, it's like putting up milk, putting up this. And ads are coming out, and she would select them or whatever and put them in the cart. And there'd be extra information. Well, all of a sudden she gets hacked. And you can see that it starts, the grass goes away, and then pop-ups start popping up everywhere, and they're blocking her vision.
Oh my gosh! What was this?
It was on Vimeo, and I can't remember. It was a foreign.
Was it a short film?
It was a short film. It was foreign, and I couldn't remember what the name of the title.
That sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
I know, and it was great. It was a little.
We're gonna be there. We'll be in Black Mirror pretty soon.
Yes, I definitely think so. With the what was it, the they had contact lenses, and the girlfriend
Contact. That's Warcross. So Warcross deals a lot with the contacts, which is augmented reality. So you can look around, and you could be wearing contacts. I could be wearing contacts. We experience the same thing by looking at different things.
Oh, wow.
And you see something there. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Or it'd be like if we wanted to watch a movie together, we would have the same contacts in or glasses. Yes. And then look over, and then we could watch the same movie, but screen.
They're trying to sell that because Facebook's hardcore and Oculus, and they're trying to do their own Oasis. Have you heard about it? What it's called?
No.
But they make everybody cartoon avatars.
Really?
Because it's a lot easier. Oh. Then Facebook had released some iPhone-style stage thing, like, we're releasing this. And at the very end of the presentation, it was like showing how they can take the face. So as you're wearing the goggles, you'll take the bottom part of the face and the top part of your face and apply that. So you have those expressions. You even have your own face on the avatar, and it will manipulate. But they're trying to do the Oasis in
it's kind of freaky.
Groups. Yes, social groups.
Okay.
And
expanding on the group. What do you think about that?
I think it's going to happen. I actually was trying to put some money in on
good or bad or
store. Well, what happened back in the early '90s was a thing called Second Life, and I don't know if I ever told you about this, but in Second Life, a college student was dropping out of high school college. He was dropping out of college because he was getting more T-shirt sales with the virtual shirts in his Second Life. And another artist was selling more paintings in a virtual gallery party.
Oh, wow.
So he would have a virtual gallery
where
the paintings, like he would make the real paintings, scan them in, and then put them in the virtual gallery. But people were buying the real ones for the real house and a digital version for the digital house. And that was a very big thing.
Okay.
And there's a lot of users, but not as many as there were back in the early 90s. Well, that eventually, because they didn't update it and money issues or whatever.
Right.
So now I think this Facebook Cloud Oasis thing might have a chance, but I was just watching some of the games that are coming out here recently, and David Soden passed me on the VR Jesus. Be Jesus. And you see your hands. You're like healing people.
Soden.
And you're like making fish come out of this bucket, you know. You're walking on water.
It's really cool.
Be Jesus.
That's really cool. It's the way it's going.
And then there's another VR game. And I think we're going to see a lot of this because remember how in Ready Player One they were going into the Shining?
Yes.
That was crazy. That
was awesome. I love that part.
This was Twin Peaks. You can go into that crazy room in Twin Peaks. It's like, why would I want to do that?
Nice. Okay. Yeah, to each their own.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
What would you go if you went to VR?
Oh, that's a good question. Man.
I bought Skyrim. I had to.
Skyrim?
Have you ever played Skyrim?
No, but I've heard of it. Is that where you would do? What would you do?
Yeah, well, Skyrim was great. I wasn't a D&D player or anything like that, but it has that essence, and you can go to different. The first thing I did in there is once they gave you the storyline, and that's another thing, you can develop your character. You'd say you're a lizard person or a human or a woman or a man or a beast, and they give you your character and send you on your way. Well, the first thing I did is I jumped in the river and I just hightail it. I was like, I don't need a horse. I don't need food to walk. I'm going to get to the end of this river, which may or may not be the end of the game, and see what's down there. And of course, just like many games, there were certain things I couldn't do. There's a lot of things I could do, but you're supposed to build your armor. And I think I lost it when you were supposed to do some alchemy, like you put potions on your sword.
Nice.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But I think it was cool where in VR you can pick up the sword instead of the hitting the A button.
Right.
You just like bam, 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 bam.
That's really cool.
Or you duck.
Right.
You're like, ugh.
Right.
And too bad it's not set up. I would totally run you through it. I don't even know where it is.
That would be cool.
But that's just a testament of where I am as far as having time to do it and then the desire to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a solo experience.
Oh, okay.
And and you go on these journeys, but I'm telling you, it's like that's why I started building that camera. I mean, just watching the VR stuff.
Yeah.
So Conan O'Brien did a restaurant where you're flipping the burgers.
Nice.
And that
Okay.
was hilarious in VR. But what would you do?
Like if I could create anything, or
yes, like what game would you jump into? What movie? Would you jump into?
Definitely, probably a movie. Yeah, I would probably. I don't know. I kind of want to be original here, but I kind of want to say I'd jump into Star Wars. Just the originals. Like we're talking Empire. Like just all the originals, basically.
There actually is a Star Wars one.
Really?
There is. I played it. Basically, you see the Millennium Falcon come in and land.
Yeah.
And it's in front of you, and then C-3PO.
That's what I would want to be in, the Millennium Falcon. Yeah. That would be so cool.
Did you go? Did you go to Star Wars?
I did.
Tell me
I loved it. It's called Galaxy's Edge, and it's pretty much just, it's like walking onto a set, like you're on the set of Star Wars. You walk in, everything's, it looks like you're walking into Galaxy's Edge, and you've got the vendors over here selling the blue milk, and you've got a cantina over here, so you can go to the cantina, have some drinks, and then if you want to stumble out, you can go look at the Millennium Falcon. It's life size, and
of course they're playing the classic cafe music.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the music's going. Everybody's walking around. You can take pictures with stormtroopers. It's really cool.
Characters are walking around too.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So it's really cool. It's fun.
But you got to get in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a ride, so it takes you into like the whole like background to the rides, but you're not really in the Millennium Falcon. You take your picture outside near it.
So basically you see the Millennium Falcon out there, the physical version of the ship, but I was thinking that there's probably 5 or 6 simulations that look like the cockpit where you're flying in the Millennium.
So they have the cockpit of other ships, but it's not the Millennium Falcon.
What?
Right. So you're in the cockpit. I can't talk now, but you're in the other ships, and you're basically you're in this scenario, and you're kind of like one person's a gunner, one person's an engineer, one person's the driver or pilot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
I'm not for sure it was a Millennium though when I saw the demos.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong though. I could be wrong.
There might be a ride that's like that. I just remember seeing the gridded window area.
Yeah.
And then I think they were talking about 747 style simulation. And it looked pretty impressive from the visual standpoint.
I don't know. It could be Millennium Falcon, but I don't think it is.
So did you do the mission? You did a couple missions?
Yeah, I did the mission. It was fun.
Was it strangers or did you have family?
Yeah, well, it was me and my niece. I took my niece. She's 12, so I took her, 11 at the time, and we went and had a great time. But there's about 6 people in the one game, one ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So it was you and who else?
My niece and then 4 other people.
Okay.
Strangers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a big group of like 6, you could all get in one.
Wow.
But that's all it seats is 6 people.
Yeah, but that seems very hard in those parks with the getting in the line and making sure they're doing their thing.
It was hard because we went during the summer and it was pretty hot, and a lot of it's waiting outside. It's like sun beating down, so make sure you bring your sunscreen and a snack or something. So those lines can get really ridiculous waiting times. We're talking like 90 minutes, and that's like fast. 90 minutes is fast.
We live in 2019.
Yeah.
Telephones are the only way to really get in contact with somebody. You can text them because there's time and there's delay. You can't do video calls. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, FaceTime, thank goodness there's a company that had like a lockdown software, but...
Right.
Okay.
Pause.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things I was wanting to talk about is the Star Wars story. Can you imagine creating a story like you have now and it go that route and you're like, I'm tired of hearing about this.
Right.
I don't want to hear about this.
Right. Everybody's like, oh, that's where you'd go in Star Wars. But no. But I would say the Mandalorian has really kind of brought back the franchise. Maybe not the movies so much recently, but I love the Mandalorian. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's by Jon Favreau, so...
Really?
Yeah. Man. He does a good job.
And these are all stories that are outside the book? Or that they are paralleling it a little bit?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I'm just jumping in, diving right in. So, yeah. I don't know where he got the other side stories. It's, the Mandalorian basically is like Boba Fett. Boba Fett's like a bounty hunter. This is like the group, the race of... I don't know if you're familiar with any of that. You can go in depth about...
I know about Boba Fett and the clones, and he had the son in this Mandalorian before that, or is it another version?
I think it's after. I don't know. I need to research more. I'm just watching it.
I hear you.
So I need to research it more.
And their technology is like timeless. That's what's so cool. Like
right.
any of their advanced technology just becomes a timeless item.
Right.
Because I think that's what's great is it's always rough and beat up, so it's like it's old.
Right. It looks old, but it's not. It's yeah.
And who knows? They don't have a Walmart. So I think that's
right. They have to go to the outposts, anytime they want, they have to barter for it, whatever they want, basically. Better have some money, man.
No kidding.
Yeah. But the Empire's still in there, and, obviously the Rebels are in there, but they haven't really keyed up on the Rebels yet in The Mandalorian, more of the Empire stuff, so. Yeah. But they've got the baby Yoda, which makes it awesome.
My gosh, a baby Yoda. So this
it's not really Yoda, but
it's, that race of beings.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a baby.
Wouldn't it be funny if you actually see the race and you find out that Yoda is the ugliest one? Like
he probably Well, this one's really cute, so cute. And
what do they say his race is?
I don't know.
That's
a good question. I guess I'm not the best Star Wars fan out there. I'm sorry. People are going to be like, "What? What's your problem?"
Chewie's race was something else. What was it? Chewie had the little dog people. Little dog people were they were cult. They were I can't remember.
The dog people.
The kites or something. We should not get into this.
Yeah, we'd probably totally, you'll go down like a whole nother. Yeah. They really need to stop. They're like, shut up! Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Did you at any point have that scenario where you're at a book place or somebody's wanting you to do a read or somebody's wanting to meet with you and they're totally tearing the book up? You're like, did you read it? Did you? No.
Actually, in person, everybody's pretty nice, and maybe online, not so much. That people hide behind the keyboard, basically. But
what's the worst? Have you had one? Some people say in the business.
I think like as far as reviews go, or are you just talking about just comments?
Yeah, comments.
I've had people try to tear it up and be like, "Well, I didn't understand this part," and then you're like, "Okay, well, let me explain the reasoning behind this." But
they're saying, "I don't understand it and I hate it." But they're not like, I don't understand it.
No.
Can you really tell me genuinely? I need to know. It's like, I don't understand it.
Well,
it makes the whole thing.
Sometimes you don't know what their intention is through the computer, so you have no idea if their attitude is that or if they are enjoying it, but maybe they do just have questions. So I think the funniest was like a review I got. It was they were reading the second book in my series, which is The Watchers, and it was just That's what they put, E-H, and then, but I think they still gave me a 3-star, which is pretty decent, I guess, if they didn't like the book.
Yeah.
But they put and then like, I guess it was okay. I just really couldn't get into the characters, and they just kind of did stuff and yada yada. Yeah, it was funny. But and then you'll on the other opposite end of that, you'll have reviews from people who are just ecstatic and like, man, this book was awesome. The characters are great. Exactly the opposite of what that person put. So you can't really please everybody. Wow. Maybe that book just wasn't for them.
And did you have any like super fans that came out and were like, but what happened to so-and-so? Why did so-and-so do this?
I would say I do have people that are excited and they really like it. They express it to me that way. Yeah. But I haven't really gotten into the uber fans stage. I'm not at that stage yet, I don't think.
So it's still saturating.
Right. I think I have like maybe 2 legit fans.
No. No, come on. You just don't. Has it gone outside of Texas?
Yeah. So it's international. Yeah, it's.
So you have
Canadians? No, I don't have translations yet of the book.
Okay.
I would love to.
Screw it up, more than likely. At least all the Japanese movies that we wanted to, like, I'll see a trailer and I go, I kind of want to see that. Is there a VO of that?
Right.
Is there a subtitle of that?
Right.
And I'll sometimes turn on the subtitles and like, that joke didn't make sense at all. Yeah. I'll turn the subtitles on, it's completely rewritten and like, still doesn't make sense, but I get what they're going for.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just taking it in stages right now. So the first stage was to publish the first book and get that out. And then the second stage was getting the second book done. And then the third book, now I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. But I'm hoping to eventually get it translated and eventually get it into audio. Kind of thing.
And I want to instill to you that there's the audience. There's that audience pathway, and there'll always be lovers and haters, of course, even with the Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
What was it? Jessica was saying something with the fact that, the Twilight, it's so sloppy.
Yeah.
It was so, the way it's written is horrible. But because that's the person that's reading it. They're
right.
the
Maybe
teens,
maybe
right?
not. Maybe that book isn't for that person.
That
Correct.
too.
And I think a lot of it, Twilight, is you can go down a whole nother tunnel or a whole nother path. For me, it's like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Because I kind of started writing my book because of Twilight, and I'm not knocking Stephanie Meyer. I think she's a great author, but at the same time, when I wrote my books, I really wanted a strong female protagonist, and I wanted it to be plot-driven and character-driven. But I wanted a character that was more relatable than, let's say, Bella, because I felt like she was almost like very two-dimensional. She was very, or I guess maybe more one-dimensional. But I think as far as Bella goes, she was really pretty, kind of perfect, and the rich guy family, the Cullens, good-looking people liked her, and I felt like that was just too forced. Does that make sense?
If I read the book,
too perfect. Okay, so you have this. You have this vampire family, the Cullens, and they basically all go to high school, because I don't know why. They're like really old vampires, and I don't know why they go to high school to fit in, I guess.
Well, I guess it's similar to why he went. Why did Twilight's vampire went to school?
Edward Cullen, I don't know, to be honest. He was like a brilliant dude. I don't know why. I guess maybe that was the problem I had. I was like, why is he in high school? Yeah. But I guess they wanted to fit in because he was young looking. And so, but he ended up falling for Bella, who had just transferred to that school, but she was like pretty perfect, but she didn't think it that way. She was just thought she was just okay. And I'm like, that just... Does that make sense? Like I just wanted a more relatable character when I wrote my book, because I wanted someone that everybody can identify with, versus the cookie cutter story of really good looking girl, really good looking guy, and they ended up together, and there's no plot in between. There's some vampires, and that's like almost the secondary plot to the romance.
So what hooks them? What do you think hooks the reader the most? The main character or the situation that they're in? As
far as on my books or Twilight?
Books?
I think it's totally characters. The characters get people. That's what I've been told anyway.
Now, you didn't match these characters up when you was writing. Like, oh, that's kind of like... you didn't match them for the demeanors of people that you knew around.
You mean as far as people in real life that I knew?
Yes.
No. I used names from people that I knew, but I did not make the characters or the way they look them.
I see.
I just used names as kind of a cool thing, like friends and stuff can see their name in the book, but otherwise, like modeling after who they are and personality-wise, no.
Yeah.
It's all made up.
Now, when you started out making this book and you knew you were going to go all the way, you're going to publish it, and I don't know if you've done a lot of talk out there about being that first time author and getting out there the first time and really making that way. Have you talked about this at all?
As far as talked about it to
like on other podcasts or anything like that?
No, I've touched on little bits. People have asked me in interviews online certain things like where I see it going. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or just the struggle of getting a book out there.
Right.
What
yes.
is the pathway? If you could help enlighten some of those.
I get that. I get asked that a lot,
really?
And I'll get people now approaching me all the time. How do I get my book out there? How do I do this well?
And tell me what your answer is.
My number one.
Don't be lazy. Get your ass out there.
Right. That might be one key component, but I'll be nicer about it. But yeah, basically, it all boils down to just writing and finishing what you have, finishing it, getting it done. That's it. Don't focus on like what else is ahead of like how much, like what do I do? What do I self-publish? Do I send out to an agent? Get that out of your head. Get that further processed out of your brain, and just finish the product.
So
finish the writing.
Is that what you did before? Or you must? I feel like your demeanor would be that you were going over all the facets. Like, I know I have to get it finished. Wait, before I get it finished, what happens after I'm finished? Okay, let's go look at advertising. Let's go look at website. I think you're one of those that
no, you give me way too much credit.
Oh, really?
No,
so you were focused on just the...
Yeah, so I had to take it...
How did you get over the hump of finishing the book to your own level to say I'm ready to?
So I took it in stages. I had a writing partner, which Misty.
Oh, okay.
Misty was my writing partner, and Misty was my best friend, also named Misty. And so we kind of decided to write a book together. She was going to write her book, and I was going to write mine, and we just kind of bounced ideas off of each other, and that's kind of how it started. And I really had no direction, and I think that's what made it great. I had no direction. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just wanted to write a story. I wanted to write it for myself and get it done. And once I got it done, I took it in stages and started submitting to agents to get an agent for my manuscript for my first book. And I got interest from an agent. They asked for my full, which is kind of a big deal, I think. I've been told that not many people get that. So that to me was enough to spur me to keep writing and keep doing this, because maybe I do have something decent. So I ended up going a weird route, and I published on Wattpad. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's a reader-writer website where you can get on, and anyone can publish their work for free, and you can read it. You can publish it chapter by chapter. People can get on and like it. They can comment on your work, that kind of thing. So I put my entire first book up just on a whim to see if people would read it, and they did, and it started shooting up there. So I knew that maybe I had a story that people really wanted to read, and that's kind of my direction.
Kind of like what we have nowadays with the Sonic movie. People were releasing it. The trailer was released, and they're like, "We hate the Sonic. It doesn't look right," and they pulled it back.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
You did a test bed with these readers, so you released the entire book, so they could tell you, "Oh, the ending's horrible," or "The middle's bad."
Right.
Wow.
Right. Just to see if...
So the book's out there free for somewhere if somebody wanted to get on what's...
It's on Wattpad right now. Really? Yeah. And for digital version, yeah, if you still want to get on there.
Have you changed it since then? Did you change it after Wattpad? You pretty much kept it the same?
Yeah, it's still the same. It's the same.
But was that kind of scary? You're like, I'm releasing the whole thing.
It was very scary.
Yeah.
It was very scary. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing, but I wanted to build up an audience, or I wanted to build up a platform, and the only way to do that is just to jump head first, jump in.
So tell me what happened. You released it, then you were waiting. How long before you heard feedback?
I released it immediately, and Wattpad, you have to kind of be social. You have to kind of generate your own market a little bit. So, basically you're marketing yourself.
Right.
So
is there anyone where you like pay them? Like, pay to read this book?
No, not at that point. It was just all social. It's a social website, so you just kind of interact with others, and you say, "Hey, read my book," and then sometimes you can read their book, what they're writing, vice versa, and then they'll comment on your stuff. So, and then it kind of snowballs, and people recommend it for other people.
That's great.
Yeah, so it just kind of went from there. Right now, it's still on Wattpad. It's got about 40,000 views on it. So.
Wow, that's great.
It's not bad.
If you get $1 per view, that'd be great.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice. But no, I decided because people liked it enough at the time that I wanted to publish. So I ended up publishing it, and then I kept it free on Wattpad.
Now, since you were doing that self-marketing, did you ever think, I'll publish it myself and I'll market myself? Or did you take on someone?
No, I said I'd do it myself, but I had no idea what I was doing. I just jumped right in. Again, I took everything in stages, so I'm still learning. I read books. I'm in author Facebook groups just to kind of learn, to kind of stalk them and find out what's working, what's not working.
How long has your journey been?
Well, do you want to take it all the way back?
No, just your marketing journey so far.
Oh, just
I don't hear all that nonsense.
Oh, yeah, because you could take the writing back to 2012.
Oh, wow.
That's when I first started the Outcasts. Yeah. So I would say the marketing since I self-published. So that's 2017.
Okay. And then
3 years ago.
Even 3 years ago, but it's been dabbling, right? You dabble. Your first book. You're testing marketing. Mm-hmm. Second book, you're still testing both market.
Yeah.
Tell me, as a self-marketer, you're going to book signings? How do you...
I am. I do. I try to do a little bit of everything, and if something doesn't work, I put it to the wayside. So, I'm working on... I'm doing everything. So I'm doing book signings. I'll do, book cons.
Wow.
I'll do festivals, anything in between. Kids' birthday parties... I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. No. Actually, no, I did do that one time. I take that back. I did do it.
Yeah,
I did one kid's birthday party because he requested. He was a fan of my work, so he requested me to come out, and he made me a little video on YouTube, and he put it he put it on my Facebook page, and it was the cutest thing. And
Aw.
I could not say no, so I ended up going to his birthday party.
Oh man,
It was cute.
what about book trailers? You do any book trailers?
I have not yet, but I plan to.
How do they? How
plan to.
effective are they?
I've heard from other authors that they're pretty effective.
Okay.
But everything's expensive, so you got to put it out there and market.
Yeah, but you know people. You know people.
Well, let's do it.
You just got to read a passage with a creepy trailer voice.
So you do good. Yeah, I mean that's perfect. You're hired. Let's do it. Let's do it. I know. We keep talking about it. We do need to do that.
Yeah, it's easy. The thing that I can't stand about some of the book trailers though is like sometimes they turn you off. They're like, oh, that's so cheesy. I don't know if I want to read that. And it's kind of like music videos.
Yeah.
A lot of the artists aren't getting the music videos done by the lyrics because they want the people to take the lyrics and make them their own.
Oh.
Bob Dylan? Do you mean this? Do you mean that? So like,
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think what was it? Katy Perry, the director. I was like, how did you land that? It was one of these music video directors. I go, how did you land that? He goes, I took the lyrics and the music and went completely opposite, and then sent that in, and that's how I got it. I was like, wow, okay, because I think it was California Girls was the one.
Yeah.
And it was all about Candyland.
Interesting.
So completely different. It had nothing to do with California, even though California Girls.
I feel like all the music videos out there are kind of trippy anyway.
That too.
And I think you can take any direction you want, and I think it would just work. I don't know, is that just me or?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very odd. It's like, and then it's like
some of them I'm watching and I'm like, well, I don't get it, but.
Well, then you get these artists that are doing what you're doing, Radiohead, and they're like, contest. We're releasing a song for everyone to make a contest music video. Well, then they get free publicity, free music video,
yeah.
And it's like viral because people are
right.
sharing.
See, I like that too. Yeah.
I did one for Moby, and they.
Wow.
They
I think I
reviewed
saw
it.
that.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Oh yeah, I put a lot of guff in that.
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh, which one's the right one?
Right.
Which one's the official one?
Right, yours actually look official to me. So yeah.
So you look at the
really
email
good.
that tells you it's not. Like,
well,
we didn't get it. But anyway, it was good. I got good practice and made some good relations and stuff like that. So
that's all that matters
it's
sometimes.
Flexing.
You're getting your name out there.
You got to flex the muscle.
You do. Yeah.
Are you? So would that be something that you would tell people?
This on the Outcasts?
Yeah. Okay. You got to flex that muscle. You got to keep writing.
Yes, actually, that's what I tell everybody. Just keep writing.
Are you on the next one?
Just keep writing.
Yes.
Just keep writing. It's like just keep swimming, but you're just keep writing. I don't know.
Have you gone out of state physically?
I have, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Canada, I did. No, I wish. I haven't been to Canada yet, but I've done the New York Book Con or Book Expo.
Okay, how was that like? Was it convention style, or did you have your own room? Did you do a seminar?
So no, this was when I released my first book. So basically, all I did was attend.
Okay.
I just decided to
with a bag of books.
Right. Yeah. No, well, I had my little name badge, and it said author, and had my name, and I have a bunch of cards. So basically, I went out and tried to meet as many people as I could, and that was basically just for marketing or networking. I just wanted to meet people and see where I could go from there, and hope. Well, my book was on one of the displays in the New York Book Expo.
Very cool.
So I went there to kind of check it out. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was like book life. That's where it was at.
Man, I remember going to those conventions and with a bundle of cards doing the same thing with my business, and just looking around to say, should I really buy a booth? Is it worth buying a booth here?
Right.
And then should I do a seminar? Is it worth doing a seminar? And then you're scared whether you do a seminar. It's almost like the campaigns. I remember doing fundraising. GoFundMe's and stuff like that. Yeah. And the biggest trick to it was, especially with the potato, you heard about the mashed potato guy?
Mashed potato guy?
He needed $1,000 to get his mashed potato going, and he got, $100,000.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, that guy got lucky.
Right, well, it's not lucky. It's so much, it's like the snowball effect of people talking about it. And he's like, yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, I'll give it 50 cents. I'll give it $1.
Right.
It's like, hey, they said.
But see, that's a niche group, and he happened to hit on the right time.
Yeah, and it's also a hipster style thing because the T-shirts. I'll pay you $30 to get that T-shirt because it's already ridiculous and it's going to get more
it's ridiculous.
And I'm going to exactly. It's ridiculous. I need to wear ridiculous. Exactly.
Well, that's if you can do it. This day and age.
I was reminded of a marketing documentary I saw, and I can't remember the title of it, but it was a whole bunch of marketing guys that got bored one day, and they decided to make somewhat of a weird scavenger hunt that somebody would follow. And he was like, go to this sign, go to this park and pick up this code. And it eventually led them to a office building that was not manned. So people would get smart enough and follow the clues up to go to this office building, and then they're enlightened somehow to this new thing. Because they were just
did they get like a prize or something
it
at the
like
end?
A cult. When I watched the trailer, I was like, "This is a cult being, a cult request." No, they would get like little prizes, but like go to this park and tune your radio to a certain frequency, and then you get another code. And these people were just all about it. And I just remember it was kind of that viral advertising. I was like, I wonder what you could do with this. I always think of that. What could you do with it? There's there's this Dagger. Oh, by the way, is there such a thing? I mean, Harry Potter's got his crazy wands. What kind of, can you pull some hats out of this? Some coats? What can you pull out of this? No,
right.
Is belts in here? I don't know. Did you describe these characters as being their average everyday looks, or did they have a fashion? Did they have?
Most definitely they have fashion. Yeah, okay. There's certain key things like Corinth, one of the main characters in my book. He's pretty much known for wearing his red Converse, his Chucks. He has red Converse, and then Alistair has his black motorcycle jacket, and then later in the third book, Lorna has another article of clothing that I don't want to give away because it would be kind of a spoiler. So, but yeah, they all kind of have their own little style, basically.
Wouldn't that be weird to have someone dress up like that and come see you?
It would be awesome.
I really like this book.
It would be really cool.
You can tell. It's like, oh, that's that character. That's that guy.
That would be, I think, that would be up here, of like all the things that you can experience with creating your own world and sending it out in the world and letting people read it. Sometimes as an author, you don't know people are even reading it. You just put it out there and you have no idea. Wow. There's, it's crazy. The feedback you get maybe years later after you've already worked on your next series of books. But
that's the thing I was thinking about with Lucas. He hates Star Wars. He's like, I'm done talking about it. I don't want anything to do with it. Can you imagine doing that with your own book? You're like, stop talking about this woman. I don't care about her and her dagger.
I hope not. I hope I never get to that level of just not liking my own work. But I get it sometimes because we are our own worst critics.
Yeah.
And maybe there's something there that he's just so tired of.
Now, is that something where you're at right now? You want to continue the story? Or do you feel
So I am going to be doing a spin-off series of this one. I don't know what the name is going to be, but I've already started working it out in my head. Of course, this whole series is in my head. Like the next book series that I want to do, the Ready Player One meets Warcross, I really want to plot that one out. It's going to be a 7-book series. So I wanted to get more structure and, more regimented program from there.
Has there been, when you're doing these, has there ever got to a point where when you're thinking about them, you're writing the stories down, you're hashing it out, is there ever a point where it's like, hey, I want to do a sci-fi on something completely different, or I want to do what you can tell me genre-wise, what is it that came out?
I would probably
do Western.
I'd probably say sci-fi. Yeah.
Like ships in space, or
ships in space, or like Doctor Who. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. Kind of a time travel. I'd love time travel. Love to do something.
Yeah.
With time travel, like Back to the Future or something. Like I don't know. I just write what I like, basically.
And that's another thing that's been very odd in my understanding is like some of the time travel movies are not they're parallel dimension. They're not one timeline. Back to the Future was one timeline. He went back, he screwed things up.
Right.
Things got changed in the future. Well.
Right.
The way that quantum physics works, it's like you could go back.
Oh, you're going to go quantum physics on me.
Physics on me.
I love it.
They talk about fourth dimension. They talk about fifth dimension, and the fifth dimension deals with time. Right?
Okay.
Did I ever tell you about
I'm trying to follow along here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
talk to me like as if I'm a baby.
Okay, here's the babies.
Yeah.
And there's lots of good videos you can go out there, and they got good animations. But essentially, one dimension is one point of reference, two dimensions two, and we reference two as being a flat plane. You know, there's nothing up and down; it's only flat. Right?
Okay.
And we live in the 3D realm.
Right. Correct.
So we can't conceive 4D. It's
right.
impossible.
We can't. Yeah.
It's that other angle that we can't
see. Yeah.
So the fifth one is dealing with more time.
Like time control or time travel or
no, like parallel. Fifth dimension is more like parallel stuff.
Yeah.
So say for instance, if you did go back in time and you made yourself rich, and you decided to go back to yours, you're just you. Because the guy that got rich is on another parallel dimension altogether.
Oh, gosh, that would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There goes that.
What you should do
yeah, so
is go back
what
in time and live in that time period and be rich. Or get rich.
Oh, stay in that time period. So you're just on a one-way mission.
Yeah.
When you leave, you're done.
Parallel realities, you can't affect your own. And
but if you go to the parallel reality, is everybody else you know there too, or are they changed?
That's just it. That's the thing. That's the fearfulness of time travel as it is right now.
Okay, so it's like The Flash. Have you seen The Flash?
No, huh?
Yeah,
that's what happens. He goes so fast. He runs.
Well, he runs so fast he can go back in time, or in the future too.
Whoa!
But every time he does something,
which way he runs on the planet, right?
Yeah. So I don't know how he does it. Mainly like a circle or something. But he basically. He can change the past, basically, and if he does, he's altering the future.
Okay.
In a way.
So he's a one timeline guy. He's like a linear timeline guy.
Yeah, but if you change something that's happened in that future, then basically everybody else can be different. Or like if you had a son on that timeline, and you go back and you come back to the future, change something, come back, you can have a daughter now.
That makes sense. That's the parallel.
So
that's also like a parallel thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Anyway, that's what they do in The Flash.
You ever see that movie, Mr. Nobody?
I haven't.
Oh man.
Have I? What's it about?
It's got that band guy in there, the main guy.
Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody's free on Netflix. And
no, I haven't seen it then.
I was amazed by it because it was about a guy that was born without. He was born without forgetting, so he remembered where he came from when he was born, and he also could see the other divisions. So as he grows older, he gets more and more divided until the very end of the film. Mm-hmm. Well, the film also bounces around, which makes you just as disoriented. And he calls himself Mr. Nobody because he's the oldest person left on the planet.
Oh my gosh!
Well, not oldest person left on. Well, maybe I think they portray him as that, but what I'm getting at is. He's the oldest because all of his branches have died off, and now he's a single. He doesn't get to bounce around anymore. He's like, thank goodness. But I tell you, I've done all this stuff. Or at least that guy did all that stuff when that guy did all that stuff.
Who was he bouncing? Was he bouncing around in his own body? Or
yeah, so essentially a good example is the point of the movie where he actually selects his family. So that was easy.
Okay.
And as he's building his family, he's remembering more of that pathway. But his parents broke up. So there's a dimension where... Did he go with his mom? Did he go with his dad? And then there's one where he just doesn't go with any of them and kind of falls in between. Oh. And then there's 4 girls, and that's where the primary focus. There was 4 girls in the town, and the primary focuses on 4 different dimensions.
Wow.
So
it sounds complicated.
It is very complicated. And the way that the movie runs is very interesting how it bounces back. And
do you get lost watching it, or
and he kind of tries to communicate between that, and you do get lost watching it, but it's petty. No, what's his name? You would recognize this guy. He's a lead singer of a band. He's been in a lot of movies. He's kind of like that Keanu Reeves looking, but
okay, kind of yeah. Oh, Johnny Depp.
Keep going.
I keep going. Oh, jeez. There's a lot. Kiefer Sutherland.
No, he's a younger guy, younger band.
Oh, younger band.
I can't think of the other. He's in Requiem with a Dream.
Oh gosh, I didn't see that one.
It's a good thing you didn't. I hate that movie.
Okay.
I actually was watching it. I remember a friend wanted to bring me to Requiem with a Dream, and I was like, I'm leaving. Like,
you're out.
30 more minutes. I'm like, I'm done.
Was it Soden? Soden did that.
No, he did not. He would, wouldn't he?
He would do it. Soden would do it to you. Yeah.
Just to get a rise out of you. I actually think that'd be kind of cool. I keep thinking about some interesting advertising you could do for the books and the story.
Well, I'm open. Tell me. Let's do it.
Well, tell me some of the supernatural things that could occur or that would... So
my let me just start by saying my vampires are different. They're not like ordinary vampires from like let's say Dracula. Mm-hmm. They can walk around in the sun, but the sun is an irritant to them. So it's almost like skin rash or something. They just don't like being out in it. They basically don't drink. They drink human blood to turn humans, but they don't really prefer human blood. So my vampires drink from each other. They gain kind of a youth and vitality through that. It's almost like they age in reverse a little bit, or they gain years back.
Whoa, now are they on daily diets? So it's like, hey, it's 12 o'clock. Hey,
yeah, so basically, well, I mean, it's not like a human regimented where they need sustenance for a certain amount, but, they feed and then there's no set, like, time, like breakfast, lunch, dinner.
You come up with that concept, or do you think that happens in nature? There's some element in nature that does that?
No, so I came up with the concept, but there's a reason why I did, and you have to get to the third book in order to find out why.
Really?
Yes, and there's a supernatural element to why that is. But I cannot tell you what that is because then I would give away the whole book. So buy it.
Exactly. Now, if this world actually exists, how would I know, like say for instance, if I was on a train platform and I did see 9.5 or a sign for that.
Yeah, 9 3/4 or something.
Whoa, yeah. Like, wait a minute. Now, is there something like that like maybe there's some kind of tool or technique other than the dagger that would be like, wait a minute.
As far as if a human were to recognize a vampire?
Yes.
Not really. There are signs, like if you know that a vampire exists, there are signs that because of their speed and because of like how fast they move and all that stuff, there's signs, pressure, but otherwise you and I would never know.
Okay. It's kind of like the lizard people right now, huh? Those people.
All those people out there.
Damn that Trump lizard.
Oh, is that what that...
No, people think there's lizard people. Lizard people in heads of state. And I was watching some videos. I got some...
That's another tangent, maybe. Oh. That's a tangent for another day, I think.
You should put some flat earth in your book. You try to get some more sales there.
Yeah. How do you know there might be something like that? No.
Yeah. I mean, look at Thor. Thor's planet was flat and water was going off the edge and everything.
In a weird, I guess in a weird sense, that's true.
What would be the best place to grab it?
So Indie Brag, which is basically just an online review kind of platform. You submit your book and then they tell you. Yeah, they tell you, they read it and then they give you a kind of a grading period. It's almost like a report card. Mm-hmm. And then if you reach a certain point, I can't remember the point percentage, but it's like a 4. If you get 4 or 5 out of the 5 points, then you get an Indie Brag award. So my first and second book have both received them.
Oh, wow.
And then it also won the new Apple Book Awards online in 2018. It was a solo medalist award winner for that one. And the 2019 North Texas Book Festival, it won second place.
No way.
Yeah. And there was one more. See, now I'm all...
awarded, worn out?
Literary Titan.
These awards.
Yeah.
They just keep giving them.
There's so many. No.
Is there any physical ones? They give you physical ones?
Yeah, so the North Texas Book Festival gave me an award. Actual trophy, I mean. That's what I mean. That was pretty cool.
Trophy thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Normally they'll just send you like the stickers to put on your books.
And is that something where it lives in the graphics that are printed out? In Amazon is where you buy it?
So you can buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble online, any kind of digital format place has it, like Kobo. Kindle. And yeah, it's on Apple iBooks, it's on Kindle. It's if you want to get it in print, Barnes & Noble is the best, or Amazon.
So I can go to a Barnes & Noble right now. They don't have what makes them want to put it
on the shelf? You cannot go to Barnes & Noble right now and get it. Well, you can go and order it, and they'll order it for you. And then you can get it. But
what makes them get it on the shelf? Do you have to pre-order and put inventory at all the stores nationwide?
Yes, correct. So that would mean that I'd have to out of pocket all the expensive to...
Have you got a price on that? Do you know what
I have, and it did not... it did not make sense for me at this time to do that because I would not be recouping any of that costs.
Yeah, not for years or if any.
Right. So the only reason I would do that is if, I start making a lot of money.
Yeah, and the shelf life.
Yeah.
How long does it stay?
Right.
Did they say a duration? Like,
no.
We need over 1 million books.
I think it's just supply and demand and whatever they want to do and how your book covers look and, you know.
Every once in a while, and what's great about Amazon, I'll get a piece of royalty because somebody clicked the button, it printed it out, it wrapped it, and it shipped it to them. And that's what happens with this book. I buy it, they print it.
Right.
They may have some in pre-order,
Right.
but
right. So that's exactly what happens. So I have a couple different suppliers or publishers. So Ingram Spark is one, and they'll send it out to like Barnes & Noble and Amazon and what have you. And then I also go through KDP, which is the Amazon subsidiary company. So it's like Kindle publishing.
okay.
So those are the two main ones I go through, but I'm also on Drafted Digital, so they send it to other digital places and platforms. So not in print, but ebook. So you can get it in France, Germany, Canada, India, all those places. So thank you to the Canadians because they've been buying it.
Is it
And the UK as well.
What is
I
going on with
appreciate that.
Canadian? Because like they bought more than any of the Americans so far.
No. It's mainly it
Support.
Yeah, it mainly is sold in the U.S., so I get a lot of U.S. buyers. But recently, I've been getting more Canadian and U.K. buyers, which is nice. So
That's good. Yeah, even the film markets, like people are going to make films, people are watching more, people are paying for independent film out there more. So
maybe the indie market's better or something.
Yeah.
In those places, but yeah, I appreciate it. I thank them because they're great.
Now, how long has the book been out there? How long has it been out?
So I just released my third book, which is Tree of Souls, and let me get this right here. This is it. I just released this one in December, actually this month, on the 15th. So just a few days ago, I just released it.
Wow.
Yeah, and the other one, The Watchers, this one has been... Oh, there we go.
That's okay.
I got it. Did you get it?
Yeah.
So The Watchers, basically, this one has been out since last year. That's when I published it. And then 2017 was The Outcast. So I've been putting one book a year out, basically.
No kidding.
Yeah.
One book out a year. So it's been 3 years. So did they ever tell you what a lifespan of a book is? When does it spur up? No one knows. Like, give me the example of Harry Potter. When did it start its
Well, I think as soon as she got it to her publisher, I mean, as soon as they put it in print, it was pretty much out there. But I think that's just because it was heavy.
Well, she already had a reputation before.
I don't think so. I think this is that. I mean, I could be wrong.
Who knows? Yeah.
I think that was her first big jump was the Harry Potter series into market or publishing at all. I don't think she was working on anything else but Harry Potter at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you kind of didn't follow? What is there one that you parallel yourself to saying like, we're in good timing. We're in good timing because, and it all varies. But this person that was new released a book, and it didn't pick up until 3 years. Some people didn't do it for 5 years. So it's all depending on the reader.
Right. Yeah. It all depends on the marketing and I think word of mouth. And it could be years before people really start gaining traction. Like I said, I don't even know who's out there reading it. I'll have kids, I'll be at book signings and I'll have kids walk by my table and they'll see my book sitting out and they'll stop and they'll stare at the book and then they'll stare at me. And they're like, your book's in my school.
No way.
Yeah, so like I think that's the coolest thing on the planet.
How did that happen?
Well, so the libraries are ordering my books, which thank you. Yeah, so through Ingram Spark or my KDP accounts, libraries get discounts, so they'll order my books. And either people are coming in asking for it, or they see it and they know it's doing well, so they're just going to order it for their libraries. So some of these kids are doing it, but it's school libraries too.
That's just it. We should get out there and get some moms to put a stamp on there. This is the best moral support for my teenager.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's a strong female protagonist.
Yes. And she's overweight.
Yes, at the beginning, yes, yeah. So I don't want to give anything away, but yeah.
She just has to drink a little blood, And she gets still thin.
I can't. I can't give that away.
Oh, so I don't know what happens.
I can't give that away. But yeah, so that's why I think my character's a little bit more relatable because she doesn't have the perfect background.
Now,
to her, she's not perfect. I think she is, but
when I did that Mexican gang film, the Fort Worth City had to they went and watched it. They screened it without me knowing it. And
did they?
It was the Gang Prevention Network said, "No, we want to watch this.
Oh, wow.
Before you release this, because we want to know how it's going to affect the kids or whatever." And they loved it.
Yeah.
And so, is there a scenario that might happen here,
I think so. I mean, I think it's definitely anti-bullying for one. That could be the platform. It was basically she's very bullied.
Find your own channel. She finds her own channel a little bit. She finds her own way.
She finds her inner growth, most definitely. Yeah. And I think that's the key. I mean, people like the struggle because that's relatable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like to me, I feel like you take someone that's perfect or cookie cutter or beautiful, and they get everything they want, but they don't understand. Like, why am I getting all this? Or I don't understand. Like, that's the problem I have with these things. With books out, young
Tell me what the
books.
problem is. What's the problem you have with books nowadays? What is this?
I already told you.
The problem with books is why you should read my book.
Well, no, I mean, okay, I'm not hating on Stephanie Meyer. Let me just first say that.
Oh, man.
She got my money. She already has my money. Okay, I bought her books. I read them. They were good. I'm just saying that like I wanted to put. I know I'm making it sound bad. So let me backpedal a little bit.
Yes.
No, I just think bring out the torches. Oh goodness, no, don't do it. No, but I think at the time I just really wanted to write a book about a strong female protagonist, but it took her a while to get there, to find that inner growth. So that was kind of the journey.
Yeah.
The journey's everything.
So
this is what life is.
Yeah, tell me now, do you think a parent would want their child reading this that would help them? Or do you think that it's
yeah. I've had people write me, younger readers who write me and say, this book changed my life. This book makes me feel like I can relate to Lorna, who is the lead character in my book, main protagonist. So just those words to me that means everything. That's why I write it. So
now describe her right now. Describe this teenage person, Lorna.
So Lorna.
Where did you get this name? How do you spell it?
Lorna Collins, Larna. I know it's not Laura, it's Lorna. And are you asking me how I got the name?
Yes.
So basically, I wanted a name that was not traditional, like a Laura. Nothing wrong with Laura. But I wanted a different name, but I also wanted one that I could kind of play with. And this sounds horrible, but to rhyme as far as like her being teased. So people call her Lardo in the book at the very beginning. I know it's horrible.
Now, what does she look like? The book describes it, but can you give me more description?
Well, at the beginning, or are you talking about later on in her journey?
The beginning. I mean, she must look pretty bad.
No, I don't think so. I think she's beautiful, but she doesn't.
On the inside.
And outside, but she doesn't see that. So,
wow.
But yeah, she's
just your average girl then.
Yeah, okay. Average. Yeah.
But she's overweight. Or
correct.
She may think that she's overweight.
Correct. She's overweight.
Okay.
I would not say like a huge amount or anything, but for her, she thinks she is. She's teased.
And she's teased. Lardo. Is there anything else that these? Does she get back at those people that call her?
She does.
Oh,
she does get a little bit. Yeah. You'll have to read the books.
Humans now. Come on.
They're humans. The teenagers, that are teasing her are humans.
And she essentially is a human, but she has these extra.
I'm not. No, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. Okay. Here, read it. Here's the book.
I'm just trying to get some insight.
Yeah.
Man, brag. That's interesting. You've got a lot of labels on this thing. It's really came. Man, I remember when you were just
writing it,
concepting it. Yeah.
It was. It took me a long time to get there. A long time. And I'm really proud of the third book. It's kind of like the culmination, the end of the saga. And it's, I think for me as a writer, I feel like I'm finally there. In the third book. For me, it took me a lot of growth, and I'm still growing and still learning. I don't think I'll ever stop learning. So, but the third book, I'm getting really great feedback on, as far as people liking it a lot. So,
wow. And is there current events that are in the book that affect these people at all?
What do you mean?
Well,
example.
I know this isn't too current, but something like crisis in the Middle East or anything, something like that. Like international issues.
I mean, they have not really on a scale where all humans know about it, but no, there's a war between a certain faction of something that I can't say.
Yeah.
So there's vampires and another group of supernatural beings. Let's just say that out there.
And then most humans say, "Oh, there goes 9/11" or something.
They could. I don't know if it's going to get up to that epic of a scale, but you'll see. You'll have to read the books and see.
Stop trying to guess what it is.
You're trying to get it out of me. I'm not going to tell you. I'm surprised I haven't actually already told you the end of the entire series, so I'm really bad about that.
Well, the journey. It was some of the movies that people have shown me in the past. I'm like, look. One of the movies that I would never see for the longest time was called Risk Hunters.
Risk Hunters, okay.
Yeah, why would I want to watch Risk Hunters? It's about people that are committed suicide, right? I don't want anything to do with that. Get it out of here. What, were they going to loathe in it? Because, man, after Requiem with a Dream, which was, the movie was about a person that, a group of people that had issues with doing drugs a lot, and the way the filming was, it alters your mind. You see the bad decisions, and you're just like, all right, we're going to have to watch this. We're going to have to go down this road. And that's what I thought of when somebody said, look at Risk Hunters. And I said, you just tell me, if it's a good movie, just tell me the entire plot, because it'd be
just
worth
tell
watching.
me it.
Yeah. And when they did, I'm like, I got to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah.
So
I'm like that sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this you can't do that to, because there's too many things going on. You've already enlightened me to a lot of them. The Dagger. So is that what the Dagger looks like?
Yes.
Have you had it created? Is it
I
real?
did. I had it created by my cover designer, Mark Reed.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of went back and forth, and basically I told him how I describe it in the book, and that's what he came up with, his own images, and I was like, that's it. It's perfect. He did all the covers, and I mean, I think he did this in one go, and he did not have to do any revisions. I was like, that's it.
And he didn't give you multiple samples. He just said, here it is.
Here it is.
And you're like, yes.
And this, I think we did maybe 2 with that one, and then this one was the hardest one, Tree of Souls, for me to get right for him.
Why is that?
Well, there's a lot of things that play into the tree and the design, and that takes place at the end of the book, so I can't tell you exactly all of it. But
because the picture shows a lot on that. Tree of Souls is the third one.
Yes.
And it's interesting how it got thicker and thicker. Was that
I
intentional
know.
Or?
No, not intentional. It just was the story that came out, and that just flowed out of me, and it needed to be...
How many times did you get locked up? How many times did you say...
The first book, like, continually.
Really?
First book, because I didn't know what I was doing. When I was a newbie. I didn't even know how to write, really. It's all just learning process, and draft after draft after draft, you make it into a book. But, yeah, there was so many hang-ups at the beginning.
Writer's block. What did you do with writer's block?
Oh, that's funny. I get asked this question a lot, and I always tell the young viewers out there how to get out of writer's block, and that's by just plowing through it. You just keep doing it. You force it there anyway.
Yeah. You don't skip over. Did you do it literally next?
Yeah. So basically, the way I work is I have to work in order, so I could not jump out of order. I know some writers are a lot different in that respect, but I'm kind of one of those must do it in order, must get it done. So if I struggled on one chapter, then I struggled for like sometime months. Sometimes I would put book one down for like months at a time. We're talking 3 to 6 months. That's why it took so long.
Can you give me an analogy? Like, she's got to get out of this house. She's just got to get out. How did she get out of the house? How?
Well, actually, that sounds right. No. Like an example on book 1 was probably I tried. Okay, so there's a certain character, Alistair, who comes in, and he's kind of Lorna's love interest, but Corinth is also her love interest at the beginning of the book. Corinth is her best friend, and he's kind of always been by her since they were really young. They live like a block apart, and so he's always liked her, but she could never love herself enough to realize that he did like her. Does that make sense? So she was one of those characters that she had a lot of growth to go through. So for me, writing in Alistair, because I always wanted Corinth and Lorna to get together, but it did not happen that way. And I tried to get those two together, and it just didn't happen. So Alistair popped out of nowhere, and I had to give him his due. As far as like at the very beginning, I never gave him character.
Okay.
And I think because I never gave him character, it took me so long to get past that. And finally I realized, oh, I'm not doing him justice. So once I started doing him justice, writing him, it all clicked. It came into place, and that's when it just worked.
Now, was there any side stories where they did come together?
Corinth and Lorna?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, did you ever just write that? Just like...
Yes, so...
is there a test bed out there? Like, if... You imagine having that segment laying off to the side, you're like, you never deleted it, but you had it as a reference, because you must have written something that said, they got together, they did.
I actually did not, because it just wouldn't... My characters would not listen to me.
Okay.
The more I tried to write it, the worse it got.
It just looked too cheesy. It was like all of a sudden...
But it just didn't work. So, yeah, I mean, it was cheesy, but it didn't work, and...
It didn't feel right.
It didn't feel right. I had to introduce that third character, which is Alistair. So just her and him and Corinth, or her and Corinth did not end up together, which is pretty crazy the way it ends up like that. Sometimes your characters tell you what they want to do and not vice versa. So
yeah, I know a friend of mine has got a writer's block right now on one particular character, not knowing what to name him and not knowing what that person's going to do, and you're just like, just let him do something.
Right. So my advice, is to keep moving on and get past that and revisit it later. And the more drafts I went through, the more I'm like, oh, this is what I need to do. So it'll come. It'll come to you. It's just going to take some time.
Okay. And did you ever have that situation like, well, I'll just call him Andrew, and he wields a machete. Just keep going. Come on. And then you come back. You're like, no. Pretty much. He's going to have a sword. And his name is going to be Arnold. Does that ever happen? I would think. I'm sure it's happened, but you've never done it. For me, it's more like I'll give them a weapon, but if I do I might give them another weapon, or I might add on to it. So you should kind of go with my first instinct when it comes to that. But it's not. It's a rare occasion where you go back a couple chapters like, it should have been a machine gun instead of a machete. Yeah, I mean, there's times, of course. I mean, you're going to run across inconsistencies. You're like, well, he wouldn't have this here in this part, or why did he have this, or, But it's interesting that you built your characters and you knew them enough that they're like, what are you, retarded? I'd never do that. Yelling at you. Yeah, pretty much. Because it doesn't work. The more you write it, the worse it comes off, and then all of a sudden you're having to go and rewrite everything, and... Yeah. Are you a fan of Supernatural? I love Supernatural. Oh, are you kidding? Yeah, I've been this book series is like part Supernatural, I think. Oh, you kidding? I'm not kidding. Part Supernatural, CW Supernatural meets Cassandra Clare's Mortal Instruments. So. No way. Yeah, but you don't like Supernatural, or? I like it enough. You like it enough, okay. But not You're in the hot seat now. Yeah, exactly. Not now. Where was it? Is it Charlie or God? Are you watching? Oh God, I know. I'm watching it too, and I know I want to like it. I'm like, you guys. What are you doing? Yes. Let's go hunt something. Oh, I love you, Supernatural, but they don't know what they're doing. Maybe there's some kind of overall arc that they're gonna do, but I'm not happy with the whole Charlie thing. Yeah, and now anything can happen so much that they're like, I swear it's the writer. Much. The writer. It's not. Yeah. It's not Charlie. It's not God. It's the writer. Writers. Yes. It's the writers. Yes. You bastards! How dare you open the? And I'm just like, no. I am right there with you. Okay. To throw opinions out there. I love Supernatural. I'm a huge fan, but this last season I'm like, what are y'all doing? I can't remember his name. Stop making all the angels and the bad guys, and stop making all the. Yeah, the demons, all the good guys. I mean, I get it. I'm in hell now. I was really good, but now this place is even better. What? What's going on here? Yeah. It's so clean in hell. It's like right. Yeah. It's like, well, where's all the yelling and the torturing? I'm 100% on the same page as you. The lead guy, I can't remember his name. Jensen Ackles. Jensen Ackles or Jared Padalecki? I think it's the Jerry guy. Jared. He was drunk in the Austin bar here recently. You heard about this? Yeah, stereotype. Jessica and I were also talking about how there's these women that aren't very attractive or are not that they're on the show, and the attractive ones usually get killed off, and that what's his name? His character's got that Death Girl because she's not going to take away from the women viewers. Like, she's not a competition at all.
Oh gosh,
There's like a theory about that.
Do you think? I don't know.
I think that's why they wrote it, because she seems like she's not. She's.
I thought. Well,
the
actually,
longest living female in the show.
No, because I actually disagree with you. I think.
Okay.
I think she's. I like her. First of all, I think she's gorgeous. But I think the reason why they did that was because they wanted poor Sam to finally get his. His family in the end, he's been through a lot, and I think the best thing that they could do for that series right now, what would flip everybody,
yes, what?
Flip it on their heads, would be to put them on a beach somewhere and have them on vacation or something. I just want to see them go on vacation once.
Yeah, to relax.
Yeah, relax. Yeah, and not fighting any demons. They should just made this whole season like them on a beach.
Demonless on a beach.
On a beach.
But not just a.
Demonless.
Demonless?
That should have been like the name of it.
Oh!
That would have been cool.
What would they do? They just do regular investigations. And they'd kill regular people like demon style.
I wouldn't say kill them, but like, what if it's like, I don't know. I'd do something. I mean, you'd have to have some sort of tension in there, but I don't know. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd make them on a beach somewhere and kind of give them what they wanted for a little bit, maybe for a couple weeks at least.
I'm sure you're a Lost fan, right?
No.
You're not?
No, I'm not a Lost fan.
Wow.
No, I had to stop watching. And you know why I'm not a Lost fan? Because they never answered any questions. They just kept raising them more, and that really frustrates me. I mean, you can do that to me. You can raise questions, but please answer the ones you've already done. So for me, that was when they didn't. They did that over too long of a time. You lose me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like therein lies no explanation.
Yeah, they lost me. I was like, I only have so much patience to give you guys.
When did they lose you? What season?
I think 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
6 seasons.
That's a lot, though. I mean, if you think 20 episodes per season, I think that's a lot of episodes to go through and be like, okay. It's coming. It's coming.
Exactly. It boiled down to the soap opera thing. What is going to happen? To be continued. Can be continued. And then that chain of event doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter the logic of what's going on. But I remember I haven't seen all of them, and I haven't dissected all of them. And I think that's why it worked for television, and that's why it was broadcast at certain times. If you missed it, you missed it, and that's why it became very famous at the time.
Yeah.
I wanted backstory of the island as far as the culture that made the items, the culture that designed it. I want to know more.
Did they ever give that to you?
From what I've heard from other people that are very, very well endowed into the entire thing. No, it's just. They never got into it.
Oh, see, that's so frustrating. That's why I couldn't commit any more time, because I was thinking, okay, so they're not going to give me these answers in the end, and I'm just going to be wasting all this time, and it's going to frustrate me, so I just stopped, and that's why. So, yeah.
Well, I mean...
Sorry to you Lost fans out there.
I got to look at the end, so I went to the end to find
Did you? Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, so that's when I started going, oh no, now that I saw the ending, I have to go back and find out why... why? You're
going to read the end of this book, aren't you? You're going to read the ending. He's going to read it. Skip to the end. You should, though. It's good.
No, I think I'll read it. I will probably not digest it as well because I'm so distracted that audiobooks are the way to go.
Oh, okay. And you're an audiobook fan.
Somebody will probably figure me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an audiobook guy.
I can read this for you.
Yeah?
We'll start.
Oh.
Starts now.
Yes, exactly. How long do you think it would take to read that? How many pages?
I think it would take you 3-4 hours if you're a fast reader.
Okay.
Yeah. For if you wanted to go cover to cover.
How many pages is it?
I think it's 354. Don't give me.
Okay.
Yeah, 355. Okay.
Yeah.
Nope, little.
No. The audiobook that I did.
Yeah, 351.
Yeah, the audiobook that I did, it was like 3 days. It took 3 days to record it. And then when we went through there, we were like, yeah, you know what? This one chapter would have been better if you read it like this.
Yeah.
Or you were really tired, you had more energy this. But for the most part, the first read was the read.
How big was that book?
That book was like 7 chapters, and I think it was around 2...
Only 7 chapters?
Yeah, like 200 or 300. Well, you gotta think of how they're dividing the chapters. One chapter was, way more pages than a normal story chapter.
So these are cut up pretty quick, short chapters, and then I just write the chapters however it flows. There's no real rhyme or reason. I just have to make sure that it flows correctly. But
it was about the same thing.
Yeah.
But you had to make sure they flow. And I think that that was what was interesting is sitting down, we could take breaks. And then you read the sentence, you're hearing the sentence, you're like, I'm going to just read it again. And you just read that sentence again. And then you just keep moving on. Because what happened when I looked at it, I'd either write the notes down or I would listen to the audiobook. And then I go, oh, he repeated that. Sometimes he would repeat entire paragraphs and I would miss them.
Oh.
You're like, whoa, wait a minute. He already said that.
Yeah.
And, but for the most part, it was really great because you just sat there and you're listening to how you're saying it. You're having long pauses. And that's another thing that the machine will take out long pauses. If it sees something longer than a certain duration, it just kills it.
Yeah.
So you can pause and you're like, what? How does that sound? Okay, it sounds like this, and read it. So I think you could do the audiobook. I think you could. Man, you're like a one-stop shop.
May have to do that.
Yeah.
I might read it. Maybe I'll be a little bit brave and do it myself. But
try it. I mean, if you got 2 days in a row, you had
yeah.
6. I think we did it in 4-hour spurts. So, because he had a busy schedule, so he would just walk in, do a couple of chapters, and walk out. But yeah, I'm kind of interested on your journey and how you conjure up book. You haven't done like a live reading of one of the chapters or anything?
I have, yeah, a few times.
Tell me how that goes. How did you get it started, and then how did you get it?
So just basically at book festivals or one of my signings, I'll just read a chapter.
So you investigated the area. You told the people. I need the very beginning of how you've got the book. It's out there. You've got a few followers.
So one of the times I did read The Outcast, I started on the first chapter, and that was at the Fort Worth Book Festival. And basically, they just put together a panel of other authors, and then you can read your chapters, and that's it. I mean, to whoever shows up, you just read it to the group. Yeah.
So it wasn't how many people were there?
I don't know.
And these are just random people?
Yeah, random people, I would say between maybe 30.
To pick something that was pretty tasty in there.
I start at the beginning.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Because that's the tastiest. That's the thing that's going to draw you in.
I feel like if you want to read the book, start at the beginning and then kind of give people a sample of it. But the other authors start at the action.
What? I would go out and say, he took the dagger and stabbed the guy. And I
could probably do that.
No.
I can find it. I think for me, I'm just scared about giving away too much information.
But how long was it? How long was the read? It was like an entire chapter that they wanted?
Right. Okay. So, but I mean, that goes pretty quick
I would
with
mess
mine.
With it so bad. You
really?
Be glad I wasn't in that position. Be like, all right, hi everybody. I'm going to start out with chapter 32.
Start up.
And then you get you son of a bitch! Why did you?
Pretty much.
Just like go into nonsense.
Yeah. So I was reading. I was doing my reading of chapter 1, and I have a mild language in it. And there were some kids there at the reading, so I came across the word and I started laughing. And I looked up and I said, "Oh, it's a curse word." So I said, "Let me just say it's a-holes." So instead, so everybody starts laughing. So I think that went across well. But at least people know mild language, a little bit of violence.
Hey, it's reality. Come on, it's all around.
It's all around. It's kind of hard to censor, but
it's a teen book. From what age to what age? You think?
From 13 to 18 plus.
Okay.
So I've had people in their 80s read it and love it, and I've had people all the way down to probably 10 years old read it, but I've never heard their feedback because I feel like they never got through it. Just because it is older material, I would say
it's a
12 and up, maybe.
It's a rare find that you find somebody that was that bookwormy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because age 10 is pretty young. So.
Well, we'll do the last introduction real quick.
Okay.
Make sure this guy's rolling.
Let me grab this water down here.
And of course. That's my 20-minute mark. Okay. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Misty Hayes. No? Is it? Is that your last name?
That's correct.
Oh my goodness.
You
have so many names from all the ghostwriting you've done in the past.
None.
None?
No, this is it. You would think that Misty Hayes would be my ghostwriter pen name, but it's not. It's my real name.
Okay. And you've written over 30 books now. I'm sorry.
Gosh, I wish. This is going to be this is a future interview. You're waiting.
That's right.
We're going to do this in the future.
Your name,
Right. No. I just finished my third book in a trilogy that I've been working on since 2012.
Whoa.
So.
And you may or may not be one of the characters in the book, and this society that exists may or may not be around. We don't know. You might have actually changed your name and written this book based on the things that you've experienced with these individuals during this period of time.
Well, I don't know about all that.
You can lie to me.
Well, it is high school age, and I'm a bit beyond that. But I can say that some of the events that happened in high school, I did use some of my own references as far as her being teased. I did use some of that real.
Like the lard thing? The
lardo? No, I was never called lardo. I was more the chicken legs. That was my name.
Hey, they got chicken legs!
Yeah, well, basically.
Your sister's like a twin of yours.
Yes, I have a twin.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were both... Hey,
Christy. Her name is Christy. Christy and Misty.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Basically. I mean, no, I had gum thrown in my hair when I was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'd use that as far as one of the teasing... bullying issues in the book at the very beginning.
Very good.
And it's because I had to draw on something and I couldn't get there, and it took me a long time to realize that what I needed to do was use an experience I had, because I couldn't get the emotions right at the time. And I'm a firm believer that I have to feel it in order for me to feel it, and the audience has to feel it, the reader has to feel it too. So, yeah. Incredible.
Well, now I'm going to use my outros, so I'll make sure that it knows.
Outros, okay.
So the outros. Well, man, thanks so much for being here and doing the podcast. We've got to do it again sometime.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Do you have a website? How do we find the book again?
I do. It's mistyhayesauthor.com, or you can find the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, any of your digital platforms like iBooks. It's all over the place. Just plug in my name, you'll find it.
And if we needed to buy a dagger or...
A dagger? Yes. eBay, probably.
Wait a minute, is it the same style of dagger that?
No, I don't know. That's one of a kind.
Oh no.
So yeah, keep reading. You'll see that it's really one of a kind. I go into depth on that too. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for your time. And
thank you very much.
I can't wait to read the book that I've been trying to.
And we'll put it in audio format. Yes.
Yes, please. I can't read things nowadays. Very good. Well,
you're like, I have no time for that.
I make movies, motion pictures, not word.
I have to listen.
Translations.
Right? Yeah. You'll get it. You'll get it. We'll get you to read it.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, talk to you then.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.